I would've held the door a little longer. I would've made the coffee extra sweet. I would've told the ghost to stay away from us and kept the world from crumbling at our feet. But I was busy looking at the horizon, missing every flicker in your eyes. Now I'm standing in the wreckage of the silence, underneath these empty, hollow skies. If only I knew it was the last time, I would've memorized the rhythm of your breath. I would've carved your name into the starlight and fought a war against this quiet death. But the forever felt so heavy and so certain. I didn't see the closing of the curtain. Oh, I traded 1,000 tomorrows for one yesterday. If only I knew you were slipping away. Your keys are still sitting on my hallway table, like they're waiting for a hand that isn't there. I'm talking to the shadows in the corner, reaching for a ghost inside the air. I thought we had a lifetime left to squander. I thought the ink would never truly dry. Now I'm reading through the chapters of our story, just to find the page where we said goodbye. walking through the station, but I'm standing perfectly still, watching the taillights vanish over the crest of the hill. I know I should be moving, I know I should be gone, but I'm bracing for a shadow on the edge of the lawn. I check the rearview mirror until my eyes start to ache, searching for a reason or a promise left to break. And I'm still looking back through the rain and the grit, hanging on to a candle that's already been lit. My neck is getting tired from turning toward the past, trying to find a version of us that was meant to last. Every step I take forward feels like a heavy betrayal. I'm a ghost on a platform, waiting for a ghost on a rail. The road ahead is open, but the sky is a hollow gray. I'm counting every mile that's taking your face away. I keep thinking I see in the crowd across the street, in the rhythm of the footsteps of every stranger I meet. I'm the fool for the maybe, I'm a slave to the way, trying to bargain with the silence in the hand of fate. They say don't look behind you, you're not going their way. But how do I leave the only place I wanted to stay? If I keep my eyes on the horizon, I might miss the sign that you change your mind and decide to be mine. And I feel looking back for you through the rain and the grit, hanging on to a candle that's already been lit. And neck is getting tired from turning toward the past, trying to find a version of us that was meant to last. Every step I take forward feels like a heavy betrayal. I'm a ghost on a platform, waiting for a ghost and a rail. Over my shoulder, the world is getting wide, and the air is getting colder. I'm still working, I'm still working but you're not there. I'm sitting with the wreckage of the promises you made, watching as the colors of our forever start to fade. I found the truth in places where you said it wouldn't be. And I'm looking at a stranger who spent years lying to me. But the anger is a fire that I'm tired of stoking now. So I'm laying down the why, and I'm laying down the how I forgive your lies. forgive the coldness of every lonely whispered night. I'm not saying it was right, and I'm not saying I'll stay. I'm just tired of carrying the weight of what you threw away. To save what's left of me, I have to let the us die. So I forgive your heart, and I forgive every single lie. You don't have to look away or find a new story to tell. I've already walked through every circle of this hollow hell. You're sorry on your lips feels like a day you can't repay. But I'm tearing up the contract, and I'm turning for the day. I'm giving back the burden of the secrets that you kept, while I wash away the tear stains from the pillow where I slept. Forgiveness isn't kindness, it's the key inside the lock. It's the only way to silence the ticking of the clock. I'm doing this for my soul, so we can finally learn to breathe beyond the tangled web of games you chose to weave. I forgive your lies, I forgive the way you broke the light. I forgive the coldness of every lonely whispered night. I'm not saying it was right, and I'm not saying I'll stay. You decided carrying the weight of what you threw away. To save what's left of me, I have to let the us die. So I forgive your heart, and I forgive every single lie. You're free to go now, and I'm finally free to breathe. The truth is out there, it just doesn't belong to me. I forgive you, I forgive it all. Goodbye. I'm standing in the hallway of the place we used to share, but the oxygen is different, like there's someone missing there. I've got my name upon the lease, my keys are in the lock, but I'm just a weary traveler waiting for a ghost to knock. The walls are painted linen, but they feel like graveyard stone. It's a funny thing how crowded can feel so much like alone. 'Cause the windows are just glass, and the roof is just a shell, without your heartbeat ringing like a familiar Sunday bell. I can lay my head on pillows, I can bolt the heavy door, but I don't recognize the shadows dancing on the floor. Every room is just a memory that I'm little starts to scream, but I'm trapped inside the static of a half-remembered dream. I find the heavens in the carpet, I find a sin inside the cold. Now I'm a sailor on a shipwreck, trying hard to stay afloat. I've got four walls and a fireplace, I've got a garden in the back, but the cover's beating out and everything is turning black. Is it a house if it's hollow? Is it a life if I'm cold? I'm just a telling all the sorrows and the stories we never told. Take the bricks and take the mortar, take the porch light and the gate, 'cause a house without a heart is just a place to sit and wait. 'Cause the window large as grass and the roof is just a cell, without your heartbeat ringing like a familiar Sunday bell. I can lay my head on pillows, I can bolt the heavy door, but I don't recognize the shadows dancing on the floor. Every room is just a memory that I'm forced to wander through. Nothing feels like home, since home was always you. Just an address on a letter, just the days I'm passing through. It was never about the shelter, it was always about you. Nothing feels like home anymore. Nothing feels like home. I used to think the mountains were a permanent view, and I used to think the always was a given with you. But the shoreline is retreating from the reach of the sea, and the rust is finally catching up to you and to me. The pain is starting to peel on the porch where we sat. I guess I should've known it would end up like that, 'cause the porcelain cracks and the iron turns weak, and the strongest of voices eventually speak, and whispers and shadows and maybe one days, until everything solid just dissolves in the haze. I'm not surprised that we finally fell through, since everything chip in the coffee mug you left on the shelf. It's a mirror of the way that I'm feeling myself. Even the stars run out of their fire. Even the highest of hearts have to tire. We weren't a failure, we weren't a mistake. We were just two fragile things that were destined to break. Is there anything, girl, that the wind won't erase? Is there any forever that keeps its own face? We held on so tight that we shattered the blasters, waiting for the season of us to pass. 'Cause the porcelain cracks and the iron turns weak, and the strongest of voices eventually speak. Whispers and shadows and made you warm days, until everything solid just dissolves in haze. And I surprised that we finally fall through, since everything breaks. Now it's our time to nothing stays bold. Just what was. I used to think the mountains were a permanent view, and I used to think there always was a given with you. But the shoreline is retreating from the reach of the sea, and the rust is finally catching up to you and to me. The paint is starting to peel on the porch where we sat. I guess I should've known it would end up like that. 'Cause the porcelain cracks and the iron turns weak, and the strongest of voices eventually speak in whispers and shadows, and maybe one days, until everything solid just dissolves in the haze. I'm not surprised that we finally fell through, since everything breaks. Now it's our turn to. There's a chip in the coffee mug you left on the shelf. It's a mirror of the way that I'm feeling myself. Even the stars run out of their fire. Even the highest of hearts have to tire. We weren't a failure, we weren't a mistake. We were just two fragile things that were destined to break. Is there anything about the boring I'm erased? Is there any forever that keeps its own face? We held on so tight that we shattered the glass, just waiting for the season of us to pass. 'Cause the porcelain cracks and the iron turns weak, and the strongest of all Nothing stays cold, nothing stays new. The story gets old and the light fades to blue. It's just time, I guess, doing what it does. Everything breaks and we're just words. I'm standing in the kitchen, staring at the wall, watching as the evening shadows start to crawl. There's a flickering bulb above the dining table. I'd fix it if I could, but I don't feel able. It's the one you complained about a week ago, before you packed the car and said you had to go. And it's one more light out in this empty house, one less reason to stay quiet as a mouse. The hallway is dimming, the porch is gone black, and I'm losing the trail that would lead you back. I'm sitting in the dark where the forever used to be, watching one more light go out on me. I tried to light a candle just to see your face, but the smoke just filled up all the empty space. Every switch I flip feels like a heavy door, closing on my life till we don't live no more. The street lamps are blurry, but the window pane, or maybe it's just me, or maybe it's the rain. They say that the darkness is where you find the stars, but all I found are memories in these jagged little scars. I give up the shine just to have one golden hour before the circuit blew and we lost all the power. It's one more light out in this empty house, one less reason to stay so tight that we bloodied our hands. The very same fire that kept us from cold is burning the stories we haven't yet told. Your tattoos did heal me, now it just stings like the weight of a stone on a bird's fragile wings. Oh, it's a beautiful tragedy, a cruel design, that the deeper the roots, the more they entwine. The closer we get, the more that we bleed, giving each other the hurt that we need. It's the greatest of heights and the coldest of dust. Isn't it funny how love will tear? We're shouting in whispers, we're crying in smiles, creating a canyon out of just a few miles. I know your triggers and you know my scars. We're using our light just to block out the stars. It was supposed to be easy, it was supposed to be kind, but we're leaving the best of our pieces behind. If I didn't care, it wouldn't feel like a night. If I didn't want you for the rest of my life, but the fiction of us is wearing us thin. Where does the love end and the breaking begin? It's a beautiful tragedy, a cruel design, that the deeper the roots, the more they entwine. The closer we get, the more that we bleed, giving each other the hurt that we need. It's the greatest of highs and the coldest of times. Isn't it funny how love will tear us? It tears us apart. The guy bit a masterpiece heart, and we're breaking. Your love will tear us, it always does. I'm looking in the mirror, but I don't see a hole, just a jagged little outline where you used to be my soul. I'm walking through the grocery store and buying half the bread, trying to ignore the we that's screaming in my head. 1 kilo stays leveled, one side of the bed is neat. I'm a puzzle with a piece lying somewhere in the street. 'Cause I'm walking around with just half a heart left, a victim of love and a beautiful theft. You took the rhythm and you took the beat and left me just enough to stay on my feet. It doesn't pump right, it doesn't feel true. The half that is beating is still beating for you. doctor say I'm fine, that my vitals are all clear, that they can't see the crater that you left behind, my dear. I try to fill the empty space with work and whiskey glass, but I'm just a hollow vessel watching other minutes pass. I'm leaning to the left because the right side feels so light, like a bird with just one wing, trying to win a losing fight. Is it better to have high than to have nothing at all? To have a memory to catch me while I'm starting to fall. Or should I just rip out the part that still knows your name and finally put an end to this lopsided game? 'Cause I'm walking around with just half a heart left, a victim of love and a beautiful death. You took the rhythm and you took the beat and left me just enough to stay on my feet. It doesn't pull right, it doesn't feel true. A heart that is beating is still beating for you. Just to have torn down the middle, just to have solving a riddle. I'm barely here, but I'm still yours. Half a heart, and it's all yours. I'm fumbling for the switch on the edge of the wall, but the sparks have all died in the center of the hall. You used to be the glow in the window at night. Now I'm shivering here in a world without light. The candles had melted into wax on the floor, and I can't find the handle to the back of the door. Now there's no light, no love, no reason to stay. Just a gray kind of shadow that won't go away. You took the sun and you packed all your things and left me the winter that a broken heart brings. The stars had gone out and the moon's like a stone in a house full of blackness where I'm left all alone. I'm calling your name, but the air is too thick. The silence is heavy and the silence is quick. We burn like a fever, we burn like a torch. Now there's nothing but ash on the front of the porch. And then the horizon shifts since I can't see your face. Trying to find warmth in this frozen out space. They say the dawn is coming, that the dark is a phase. But I've been blind for 1,000 long days. How do I breathe when the colors all fade? Everything's cold.